Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Tonight, forecasters remain on alert. The threat of a strong system continues to be a concern for weather officials. With heavy rains and thunderstorms in the forecast, residents in the northern Bahamas, particularly those in low-lying areas, are tonight still being urged to prepare. For an update on the tropics and what we can expect weather-wise this weekend, we go now to Chief Meteorologist Kirk James in our studios. Kirk?
Thank you, Shashina. We can all say what a difference a day makes, right? Or perhaps what a difference the progs make. This time yesterday, there was indication on the satellite water vapor app that this strong tropical wave was kind of falling apart. And this morning's run confirmed it completely. Most of the convection was completely displaced from the center. And so obviously the system had weakened terribly. So now they're calling it a weak low pressure area or just an ordinary tropical wave. It is being battered by wind shear and dry air. However, the waters still remain very warm in our area, so the potential to strengthen still exists. They've put down the probability now to 20 to 60%. As opposed to yesterday, it was 40 to 60. So we're looking for actually the system to perhaps strengthen when it gets out of Bahamian waters in the southeast Gulf, eastern Gulf of Mexico. So that's good news for the residents of the Bahamas. However, we don't want residents to lax their laurels, pretty much sit on their laurels, but to be vigilant and prepared. There's still the possibility, a remote possibility for this to strengthen. However, the potential for heavy rainfall exists, and so flooding is a real possibility. So residents should be alert and listen to all the news broadcasts, all the weather updates on this system, and go about their normal business, realizing that streets could be flooded, visibilities could be low, hazardous driving conditions, and of course flying conditions. It could affect airports also. So pretty much no real worries, no need to panic over this tropical wave. Is going to continue west-northwest with the low center between Cuba and the western Bahamas. But strengthening is not expected during this time for the next 48 hours, which is good news for us. So let's continue to be alert and vigilant, and remember that we need to be prepared and we need to be informed. So we don't want our residents to ignore the weather alerts. In summary, what we were saying is the tropics are no real concern for us right now. Nothing major in the tropics. Gaston out there far to the east is no problem at all. You have another area we're watching in the north-central Gulf of Mexico. Absolutely no concern to our area whatsoever. So just this tropical wave, we're going to still keep an eye on it. And remember, it has the potential for heavy rainfall. So we want residents to be aware of that and seek to guard against flooding. Make sure the drains are cleared. Make sure any low-lying furniture is propped up if the rain continues. But we'll let you know with subsequent forecasts, Saturday's forecast, Sunday's forecast. The area of greatest rainfall potential still seems to be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and possibly even into Tuesday. This is the wet time of year. September's our wettest month, but August still gives us a good potential for rainfall also. Back to you, Shashina.
Thanks, Kirk. While with heavy rains and thunderstorms in the forecast this weekend, flooding is a major concern. The drainage system on the island is often put to the test. This time will be no exception. Our Talia Hall spoke with a leading executive from the Grand Bahama Port Authority City Management Office about this vital issue.
For the past 3 days, Grand Bahama has had about 2.5 inches of rain. Going into the weekend, local forecasters are predicting 3 more inches of rain between Saturday and Monday. Now, with a lot of rain comes a lot of water that will settle on the ground. But manager of city management at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Troy McIntyre, says with the help of drains, water will go away quickly.
I think we probably installed somewhere around 4 to 5 new drains a year. The city has a total of about 600 drains, and that's GBPA drains, not including private wells, private subdivisions. And so with those drains, the private developers and persons with private businesses are responsible for the maintenance of their drains.
McIntyre says there are still some areas of concern on Grand Bahama where they will either service the current drains or add additional drains to the affected areas.
We have on an annual basis a drainage management program, which entails servicing the drains, inspecting the drains to make sure they're working.
The port executive is cautioning residents to drive carefully on our streets, especially near the Grand Bahama Highway and Queens Highway.
Drainage have capacities, maximum capacities, and so coupled with high tide, you're going to have flooding and your low-lying areas. And so with cases like that, we say to persons, if you see areas where it's flooding and you're not sure of the depth, not to proceed. And the key thing though is after a rainy period, 45 minutes an hour, you should see the water subside in most of those areas.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
And the National Emergency Management Agency, also known as NEMA, is also another vital component when it comes to disaster preparedness. Our Megan Shepard sat down with NEMA officials who highlighted the role they play before, during, and after a storm or natural disaster.
Some favorable news for the island of Grand Bahama in terms of the latest weather system. Recent reports have indicated that the chances of a tropical storm forming in the Bahamas has diminished, but residents are still being urged to stay on alert. Deputy Co-Chair of the Grand Bahama Disaster Consultative Committee, Tammy Mitchell.
We want to encourage residents that because we're now in the peak of the hurricane season, we want them to remember to stay prepared, because at any event, if you need to do anything with regards to preparations, you would have less time.
Heavy rain is still in the forecast and is expected to impact the island, with some areas prone for flooding. Mitchell says that the committee is fully prepared to spring into action. She is reminding residents to stay tuned to their local meteorologists and news station for updates.
It's very important, especially for the Bahamas and in particular the island of Grand Bahama, that you stay in tune to your local Met Office reports, not the international. It's not saying that you can't focus on international, but the importance is that our people focus more on us.
Senior Officer Geraldine Pinder adding that it is important to stay over-prepared rather than under-prepared. She says the NEMA office is equipped and ready to assist in any way they can.
We have an informations desk if it is that you need any type of information relative to hurricanes, the plans before, during, and after. We are more than happy to share the information with you.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The inclement weather, no doubt, impacting the fishing and boating industries. Fishermen and avid boaters advised to stay safe. Tonight, the newly installed president of the Bahamas Air Sea Rescue Association, or BASRA, is focusing on safety on the high seas. Sabrina Brown reports.
While the future development of the latest storm remains uncertain, Acting Chairman of the Bahamas Air Sea Rescue Association on Grand Bahama, Eddie Wan, is advising boaters to exercise caution.
We're still going to get a little wind and rain, and you need to be mindful of your boats, your vessels, and obviously make sure they're double tied. If we're going to have any wind out of it, make sure your batteries are up. Check your bilge pump so that just in case we do get a lot of rain, which I think we might do here today, that you stand a lot less chance of anything happening to your vessel.
He says he believes most boaters do adhere to the safety rules. However, BASRA is always ready to assist those in distress.
I think we do have a lot of boaters who are smart enough not to go out there, and luckily we don't get a lot of calls. We do get a lot of, or they're odd, I won't say a lot, but some boats sinking or starting to go under, which really at the dock is not a BASRA call, but we can help and assist and get the right people there to help you if you find yourself where your boat is sinking. At the dock, of course. Out in the middle of the ocean, yes, we're there for you.
The BASRA executive is also appealing to boaters to inform someone before going out to sea.
We need to be careful. We need to let people know where we're going, what time we're expected back, what course we're planning on taking. If you don't see from me or hear from me by a certain time, notify somebody. But yeah, please do not go out there and just, oh, I can do this, I got this. Let somebody know where you're going, where you're planning on getting to, what time you're leaving, what time you plan on arriving. Just so if you don't, then your family or friends can send somebody out to look for you.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
During the time of storm, survival is key. One basic necessity is water. As residents prepare, officials say water should be at the top of their list. Kimberly Mullings reports.
This time around, Bahamians apparently heeded the warnings of the impending storm and moved quickly to prepare. A local water company, Bahama Pure Water and Ice, is one of the newest kids on the block, as they celebrated 1 year of successful business on the island on August 8th. This company official says serving the water needs of the community is vital.
For us, there's been a lot of growth, a lot of people leaning towards the refills instead of getting the imported water. We appreciate that, we feeling the advantages of that, so it's been pretty well.
Supervisor Denzel Wallace says Bahama Pure has seen an increase in sales at the start of the 2016 storm season, particularly this month.
It's been a significant increase in sales. It's been almost overbearing in sales. It's been very well.
In addition to Bahama Pure having some of the lowest rates for water refills for consumers on Grand Bahama Island for purified water at 43 cents for a gallon and $2.15 for 5-gallon bottles, Wallace says their variety of products and business hours are the reasons behind their thriving business.
We have, the purified refills, the alkaline refills, the new alkaline waters, and the new purified waters. You get the cases, the 1 gallons, and the 5 gallons. We also have ice. Purified ice, the 10-pounder and 20-pounder. We open at 7:30 for the early birds, and we close at 7:30 for the later in the evening for those who are just coming off work. We'll be here for you.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news when we come back.